Princess Amber discovers a mysterious music box in the castle's forgotten wing. And when she opens it, silver threads pour out like water, wrapping around her wrists. Within seconds, the entire room transforms into a shimmering web that pulses with strange energy. Sofia watches in horror as her sister becomes trapped in something far more dangerous than it appears. The music box wasn't supposed to be opened. Ancient warnings were etched into its surface, but Amber couldn't resist the intricate carvings of butterflies and roses. One twist of the key, and everything changed. The silver threads don't just trap you physically. They read your desires, your fears, your deepest wishes, and they use that information against you. Amber wanted beauty, elegance, something spectacular to show at the royal ball. The threads gave her exactly that, wrapping her in the most stunning gown imaginable. But there's a cost she doesn't understand yet. Sofia reaches for her sister's hand, and the moment her fingers touch the threads, she feels it. A pull, gentle at first, like silk scarves brushing against skin. Beautiful, almost inviting. Then the threads multiply, spreading across her arm faster than she can react. James shouts a warning, but it's already too late. The web has 2 victims now, and it's hungry for more. Here's what makes shadow silk different from ordinary magic. Most enchantments have rules, limitations, clear boundaries you can work within or break. Shadow silk adapts. Every spell Cedric tries simply feeds it, making the threads stronger, more complex. Fire turns them golden, but doesn't burn them. Ice makes them crystallize into razor-sharp barriers. The more you fight, the tighter they weave. Clover tries gnawing through a strand near Sofia's ankle. Bad idea. The thread tastes his fear of heights, and suddenly the floor beneath them becomes transparent, revealing an endless drop into darkness. It's an illusion. But try telling that to a terrified rabbit whose survival instincts are screaming. He freezes, unable to move forward or back, trapped by his own mind as much as the silk. Minimus attempts an aerial rescue, diving through the doorway with practiced precision. The threads sense his approach and form a canopy, a ceiling of interwoven silver that blocks his path. He pulls up just in time, but now the room is sealed. Whatever happens next, they're facing it without reinforcements. The music box continues its melody, a haunting tune that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. Sofia recognizes it from somewhere, a lullaby perhaps, or maybe something older. Each note makes the threads pulse, growing thicker, spreading further. They're climbing the walls now, covering portraits of past royals, turning the forgotten wing into something that belongs in a nightmare. Amber's dress keeps changing. One moment it's silver, then gold, then deep purple with constellation patterns that actually twinkle. She's mesmerized, turning slowly to watch the fabric shift and flow. Sofia calls her name 3 times before she responds. That's when Sofia understands the real danger. The threads aren't just physical traps. They're offering something irresistible, and Amber's falling for it. James draws his sword, which proves about as useful as Clover's teeth. The blade passes through the threads like they're made of light, but they remain intact, unbothered by his efforts. He tries a different approach, wrapping a thread around the hilt and pulling, hoping to unravel the pattern. The thread stretches impossibly long, and for a moment, nothing happens. Then it snaps back. The recoil sends James stumbling into a web cluster behind him, and suddenly he's wrapped from shoulder to waist. The threads around him take on a different quality, darker, almost armor-like. They're reading him too, understanding that he values strength and protection. So they give him that, but twisted, turning his own desires into chains. Sofia's mind races through every lesson, every story, every piece of magical knowledge she's accumulated. There has to be a pattern here, some weakness in how shadow silk operates. It feeds on magic, grows from emotion, adapts to resistance. What if you give it nothing? What if you simply stop? She closes her eyes and goes completely still. The threads around her arm pause their advancement, as if confused by the lack of input. Amber notices and starts to ask what she's doing, but Sofia shakes her head slightly. Silence. Complete mental and physical silence. Don't think, don't feel, don't want anything. It's harder than it sounds. Try not thinking about something when that something is wrapped around your body, potentially squeezing tighter with each breath. Try not feeling afraid when your brother and sister are trapped beside you. Try not wanting escape when every instinct screams to run. But Sofia's been trained by Cedric, lectured by professors, and tested by challenges that would break most princesses. She knows how to center herself, how to find that quiet space where panic can't reach. The threads around her arm loosen, just slightly, but it's enough. Proof that the theory works. The question becomes whether she can teach the others fast enough, whether they can all achieve that state of emptiness before the threads decide to change tactics. Because Sofia's certain of one thing: Shadow Silk is intelligent. It's learning from them just as fast as they're learning from it. And it's patient. The music box melody shifts to a minor key, and new threads begin emerging from the ceiling, these ones darker, moving with purpose rather than the lazy drift of the earlier strands. Whatever comes next, they have maybe seconds to prepare. Sofia's realization comes too late to share. The ceiling threads descend in a coordinated strike, wrapping around Clover before he can even squeak a protest. They lift him upward like a puppet on strings, and his fur immediately begins shifting colors, cycling through every shade of brown and gray as the silk reads his instinct to blend in, to disappear. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so terrifying. Amber screams, reaching for him, which breaks her concentration completely. The threads around her surge forward, wrapping her arms, her waist, lifting her onto her toes. She's being dressed by the darkness itself, and the worst part is how beautiful it makes her look. Like a queen from some twisted fairy tale where the throne costs everything you love. James tries the silence technique Sofia demonstrated, but his mind's too loud, too active with battle strategies and protective instincts. The threads sense this and respond by creating patterns that look almost like battle formations, intricate weaves that suggest military precision. They're turning his own warrior mindset against him. Sofia opens her eyes. The stillness worked for her because she understood what she was doing. But there's no time to explain the philosophy of magical emptiness to three panicking people. She needs a different approach entirely. The music box sits on its pedestal, innocent and malevolent all at once. The melody it plays isn't random. It follows a specific rhythm, and the threads move in sync with that rhythm. They pulse on certain notes, retreat on others. It's conducting them like an orchestra. What happens if you change the song? Sofia lunges for the music box, and every thread in the room reacts instantly. They whip toward her from all directions, creating a barrier between her and the pedestal. She doesn't slow down. Sometimes the only way through a trap is to trigger it deliberately, on your terms rather than its timing. The threads hit her from 6 different angles simultaneously. She feels them wrapping, reading, beginning their process of transformation. But her hand closes around the music box lid, and she slams it shut. Silence drops like a curtain. Every thread in the room freezes mid-motion. Then they begin to retract. Not slowly, not gently. They snap back toward their source points so fast it creates a wind, a rush of air that sends everyone stumbling. Clover drops from the ceiling with a yelp that definitely questions his dignity. Amber collapses forward, gasping. James catches himself against the wall, his sword finally free from the phantom armor that had been forming around him. The music box grows warm in Sofia's hands. Hot, actually. She drops it, and it hits the floor with a crack that definitely wasn't there before. The polished wood splits down the middle, revealing something inside that absolutely shouldn't exist. A seed, black as midnight, smooth as glass, pulsing with its own internal light. Nobody touched that, Sofia says, which is probably unnecessary given that nobody's moving. They're all staring at the thing like it might explode, or worse, start singing. Cedric's voice echoes from somewhere distant, calling their names. He must have finally noticed they were missing. The Forgotten Wing has a way of making time weird, stretching minutes into hours or compressing hours into moments. Sofia has no idea how long they've actually been here. The seed pulses again, brighter this time, and cracks appear in the floor around it. Not damage, exactly. More like growth patterns, like roots spreading beneath stone. The temperature drops so fast Sofia can see her breath, and frost begins spreading outward from the seed in delicate geometric patterns. This is worse than the threads. The threads were a defense mechanism, a test. This is something waking up. "We need to leave," James says, which wins the award for most obvious statement of the day. But when he tries the door, it doesn't budge. The frame has warped, or maybe the room itself has shifted. Either way, they're sealed in with whatever's about to happen. Amber picks up a piece of the broken music box, examining the craftsmanship. "This isn't enchanted wood," she says quietly. "It's petrified. This box is thousands of years old." Which means the seed inside is even older. Something preserved, hidden, waiting for the exact right conditions to activate. And apparently, those conditions involved a princess shutting the lid at exactly the wrong moment. The frost patterns reach the walls and begin climbing. Where they touch the portraits, the painted faces change expressions. Subtle shifts, barely noticeable, but Sofia catches them. Smiles turning to frowns. Eyes that were looking left, now looking right. All of them staring at the seed. No, not staring at it, staring away from it, like they're trying to warn anyone who looks at the paintings. Like they've been trying to warn people for centuries, frozen in oil and canvas, unable to speak. Clover hops closer to Sofia, his earlier bravado completely gone. "I don't suppose you have a plan for ancient evil seeds that freeze rooms and manipulate reality?" "Working on it," Sofia lies. Because the truth is, she has no idea what this thing is, and nothing in her studies ever covered seeds that pulse with dark light and make portraits come alive with terror. The seed cracks. Just a hairline fracture, but it's enough. Light pours from the gap, not the warm glow of fire or sun, but something cold and hungry. The kind of light that doesn't illuminate, it consumes. Shadows flee from it, which should be impossible because light creates shadows. It doesn't chase them away. James positions himself between the seed and his sisters, sword raised despite knowing it's useless. Amber grabs Sofia's hand, squeezing tight enough to hurt. The room continues cooling, frost now covering every surface, making the floor treacherous. And the seed continues opening, revealing what was never meant to be found. The light doesn't burst out. It seeps, which is somehow worse. Like watching ink spread through water, but in reverse. The cold intensifies until Sofia's teeth start chattering, and her breath comes out in thick clouds that hang in the air longer than they should. The seed splits wider, and something emerges. Not a plant, not a creature, a memory. That's the only way Sofia can describe it. The light coalesces into shapes, scenes playing out in 3 dimensions right there in the frozen room. A kingdom she doesn't recognize, towers spiraling higher than anything in Enchantia, made from stone that gleams like pearl. People moving through streets, wearing clothes from an era so ancient they look almost alien. And at the center of it all, a tree. Massive, impossibly tall, its branches reaching into clouds that shimmer with colors that don't exist anymore. "The first kingdom," Amber whispers. "Mother told me the stories. Before the Great Collapse, before magic scattered into 1,000 different forms, when it all came from one source." The scene shifts. The tree is dying now, its leaves turning to ash mid-fall. People are running, screaming, though no sound reaches the frozen room. The kingdom crumbles in fast forward, towers toppling, streets cracking, the sky itself seeming to tear. And someone, a figure Sofia can barely make out through the distortion, is collecting seeds from the dying tree, preserving them, hiding them. "They tried to save it," James says. "Whatever destroyed their world, they knew it was coming. These seeds were meant to restart magic somewhere else, but the vision darkens. The seeds don't just carry magic. They carry the collapse itself, the death of the first kingdom compressed into tiny vessels that look harmless until someone opens them. Until someone like Amber shuts a music box lid and triggers whatever countdown was built into the preservation spell. The memory fades, and the seed on the floor is fully open now. Empty. Whatever was inside has already been released, spreading through the room like a virus looking for a host. The portraits have stopped moving, frozen mid-warning. The frost patterns have stopped growing. Everything is perfectly, terribly still. "Nothing's happening," Clover says hopefully. Maybe it was just a light show. Maybe we're fine. Then the walls start forgetting. It's not crumbling or vanishing. It's more fundamental than that. The stones lose the memory of being assembled, of being shaped, of being anything other than raw material pulled from the earth. They separate, hovering in space, no longer understanding how to be a wall. The portraits float free of their frames, and the frames forget they were ever would. Everything in the room is reverting to its original state, before human hands touched it, before magic shaped it, before purpose gave it meaning. Sofia grabs for James, but her hand passes through him. He's still there, still solid, but they're existing in slightly different moments now. The room isn't just forgetting its structure, it's forgetting time itself, scattering everyone into separate seconds that don't quite connect. The door. Amber's voice sounds distant, like she's shouting from another building. If the room forgets the door exists, we're trapped in here with no way out. Sofia tries to move, but her feet can't find the floor. Not because she's floating, but because the floor keeps existing in different moments. One step lands on stone, the next on empty air. The third on something that might be stone, or might be the memory of stone. She can't tell anymore. The room is becoming unstuck from reality, taking them with it. She closes her eyes, trying to think past the panic. The seed was preserved in a music box, which means someone thought music was important. Sound, pattern, rhythm. Things that exist in time but aren't bound by it. If the room is forgetting when it is, maybe they need to remind it. Sing, Sofia says, and her voice sounds strange, echoing across multiple moments at once. Everyone, sing something, anything, now. What good will that do? James asked from somewhere to her left, or maybe behind her. Directions don't work right anymore. Music creates time. It's measured in beats and bars. It forces moments to flow in order. If we can establish a rhythm, maybe the room will remember how to be sequential. It's a desperate theory based on half-remembered lessons about temporal magic, but desperate is all they have. Sofia starts humming the first song that comes to mind, some simple folk melody her mother used to sing. Amber joins in, her voice shaky but clear. James adds a lower harmony, and even Clover contributes a series of notes that almost fit the tune. The effect is immediate. The floating stones shudder, finding alignment. The scattered moments start pulling together, drawn by the rhythm like iron filings to a magnet. Sofia's feet find solid floor again, and when she reaches for James this time, her hand connects with actual shoulder. The portraits settle back into their frames, though the painted faces still look terrified. But they're not out yet. The door is still warped, and the room is still cold, and the empty seed on the floor is pulsing again. Not with light this time, with absence, like it's trying to pull everything back into itself, to reverse whatever process just began. Keep singing, Sofia says, though her voice is getting hoarse. Don't stop for anything, because if they stop, if the rhythm breaks, the room will forget again. And next time, they might forget themselves. Forget who they are, why they came here, what they're trying to escape. Just 3 more people scattered across moments that refuse to connect, trapped forever in a room that doesn't remember how to exist. The seed's pulse grows stronger, hungrier. And somewhere in the castle, Cedric is still calling their names, his voice getting closer. But he's on the other side of that warped door, in a version of reality that still makes sense. They need to reach him before the room decides doors are a concept it no longer wants to remember. The singing works until it doesn't. Sofia feels the shift before she sees it. The rhythm they've created starts bending, stretching like taffy pulled too thin. Each note they sing arrives a fraction of a second later than it should, and that fraction is growing. Sound itself is becoming unstuck. Louder, she urges, but her own voice reaches her ears after her lips stop moving. The door ripples. For one precious moment, it looks almost normal. Almost like a door they could open and walk through. Then it inverts, the handle appearing on the wrong side, or maybe there is no wrong side anymore. Maybe the room has forgotten which way is out and which way is further in. Cedric's voice cuts through from somewhere beyond. The frame. Focus on the door frame, not the door itself. Of course, the frame is older, more permanent. It's been part of the castle's structure for centuries, while doors have been replaced, repainted, removed. If anything in this room remembers what it's supposed to be, it would be the frame. Sofia redirects their singing, aiming the sound at the carved wood surrounding that impossible door. The frame responds, solidifying, its edges becoming crisp and definite. The door inside it is still wrong, still warped, but now it's contained, bordered by something that refuses to forget itself. James moves first, always the brave one. He reaches for the handle that may or may not exist and pulls. The door opens sideways, or possibly backward, revealing a hallway that looks correct from one angle and utterly alien from another. "Don't think about it," Sofia says. "Just move." They stumble through, pulled as much as walking, and suddenly they're in normal space again. The temperature rises 30 degrees in an instant. The floor is blessedly solid and singular. Behind them, the door slams shut, and through its window, they can see the room still churning, still forgetting itself in pieces. Cedric is there, wand raised, looking more disheveled than Sofia has ever seen him. "What happened?" "I heard singing, and then the entire corridor started phasing in and out of existence." "The seed," Amber manages, leaning against the wall. "We planted it, and time broke." "You planted an unidentified magical seed indoors?" Cedric's voice climbs an octave. What part of that seemed wise? "Fair point," Sofia admits silently. But there's no time for a proper scolding, because the door behind them is bulging outward, the wood stretching like fabric. Whatever's happening in that room isn't content to stay contained. "We need to seal it," Sofia says. "Permanently." "I can't seal time itself," Cedric protests, but he's already moving his wand through the beginning of a complex pattern. "I can barely understand what's happening in there." "Then don't seal time. Seal the room. Make it so thoroughly forgotten that it stops existing in any moment at all. It's dangerous magic, the kind that deals with perception and memory rather than physical forces." But Cedric sees what she means. A room can't affect the present if everyone forgets it was ever there. He begins the incantation, words in a language Sofia doesn't recognize. The door stops bulging. The wood grain starts fading, becoming less detailed, less real. The entire doorframe begins losing definition, its edges blurring into the surrounding wall. "Everyone think of something else," Cedric commands. "Anything else. Don't look at the door, don't think about what's behind it. Let it go." Sofia forces her mind toward breakfast, toward the morning sunlight in the garden, toward Clover's constant complaints about vegetable portions. Anything but the room they just escaped. Beside her, James is probably thinking about sword practice, and Amber about her upcoming dress fitting. The door fades completely. Where it stood, there's now just wall. Old wall. The kind that looks like it's been solid and unbroken for generations. No seam, no outline, no indication that anything was ever there. "Did we just erase a room from the castle?" James asks. "We made it irrelevant," Cedric corrects, lowering his wand. "It still exists, technically, but in a state so thoroughly forgotten that it can't interact with our timeline anymore." Sofia isn't sure that's better, but at least the hallway has stopped trying to phase out of existence. The temperature is normal, time is flowing in its proper direction. She can feel the difference in her bones, the return of sequential moments that follow each other like they're supposed to. The seed, she remembers. It's still in there, still growing. What if it eventually breaks through the forgetting? Cedric shakes his head. If a tree falls in a forest that nobody remembers exists, does it make a sound? That room is lost to us now. Whatever happens inside it no longer matters to our version of reality. It should feel like victory. They escaped, they're safe, the castle is secure. But Sofia can't shake the image of that seed on the stone floor, pulsing with potential, growing into something magnificent or terrible in a space that exists outside of time itself. Maybe that's where it belonged all along. Some things are too powerful for the present moment, too transformative to exist in a world where people need cause to follow effect and tomorrow to come after today. Next time someone offers us mysterious seeds, Amber says, we're declining, politely but firmly. Agreed, Sophia and James say together. They walk back toward the main castle, leaving behind a wall that used to be a door that used to lead to a room that's now nowhere and no when at all. Behind that wall, in a space that has forgotten how to exist properly, a seed continues its impossible growth. Maybe it will bloom into something beautiful. Maybe it already has, or will, or is perpetually about to. They'll never know. And that, Sophia decides, is exactly how it should be. Part 4 of 4. The singing works until it doesn't. Sophia feels the shift before she sees it. The rhythm they've created starts bending, stretching like taffy pulled too thin. Each note they sing arrives a fraction of a second later than it should, and that fraction is growing. Sound itself is becoming unstuck. Louder, she urges, but her own voice reaches her ears after her lips stop moving. The door ripples. For one precious moment, it looks almost normal. Almost like a door they could open and walk through. Then it inverts, the handle appearing on the wrong side, or maybe there is no wrong side anymore. Maybe the room has forgotten which way is out and which way is further in. Cedric's voice cuts through from somewhere beyond. The frame. Focus on the door frame, not the door itself. Of course, the frame is older, more permanent. It's been part of the castle's structure for centuries while doors have been replaced, repainted, removed. If anything in this room remembers what it's supposed to be, it would be the frame. Sophia redirects their singing, aiming the sound at the carved wood surrounding that impossible door. The frame responds, solidifying, its edges becoming crisp and definite. The door inside it is still wrong, still warped, but now it's contained, bordered by something that refuses to forget itself. James moves first, always the brave one. He reaches for the handle that may or may not exist and pulls. The door opens sideways, or possibly backward, revealing a hallway that looks correct from one angle and utterly alien from another. Don't think about it, Sophia says. Just move. They stumble through, pulled as much as walking, and suddenly they're in normal space again. The temperature rises 30 degrees in an instant. The floor is blessedly solid and singular. Behind them, the door slams shut. And through its window, they can see the room still churning, still forgetting itself in pieces. Cedric is there, wand raised, looking more disheveled than Sophia has ever seen him. What happened? I heard singing and then the entire corridor started phasing in and out of existence. The seed, Amber manages, leaning against the wall. We opened something that shouldn't have been touched. You opened an unidentified magical artifact? Cedric's voice climbs an octave. What part of that seemed wise? Fair point, Sophia admits silently. But there's no time for a proper scolding because the door behind them is bulging outward, the wood stretching like fabric. Whatever's happening in that room isn't content to stay contained. We need to seal it, Sophia says, permanently. I can't seal time itself, Cedric protests, but he's already moving his wand through the beginning of a complex pattern. I can barely understand what's happening in there. Then don't seal time. Seal the room. Make it so thoroughly forgotten that it stops existing in any moment at all. It's dangerous magic, the kind that deals with perception and memory rather than physical forces. But Cedric sees what she means. A room can't affect the present if everyone forgets it was ever there. He begins the incantation, words in a language Sophia doesn't recognize. The door stops bulging. The wood grain starts fading, becoming less detailed, less real. The entire door frame begins losing definition, its edges blurring into the surrounding wall. Everyone think of something else, Cedric commands. Anything else. Don't look at the door. Don't think about what's behind it. Let it go. Sophia forces her mind toward breakfast, toward the morning sunlight in the garden, toward Clover's constant complaints about vegetable portions. Anything but the room they just escaped. Beside her, James is probably thinking about sword practice, and Amber,